Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's demonstration I'm going to be drawing and painting this Highland cow. I know a lot of you like drawing cows, and particularly Highlands seem to be quite popular. The only thing is, when I'm drawing an animal I like to see the eye, because I do believe that's where you get the character in the animal. So it's very tricky getting some character into your painting and into your drawing when you've not got that eye to see. So we cannot see them at all, they're completely covered by this hair here. So you have to think of other ways to give your painting much more character when you've not got that eye showing, because like I say, usually that's where to me the character is. And I tend to draw an animal very loosely and don't put too much detail in the rest of the animal apart from the eye. I save the detail for the eye and get the character there with all that detail of how the eye is looking. So like I say, it's quite tricky with this particular cow when you can't see her eyes at all. So I would say this is quite a young animal. I did get this photograph off Pixabay and I will link the photograph down in the description below. So she's quite a stocky little animal, by which I mean she's got very short legs compared to the rest of her, a very wide body. And her horns are much longer than you think, so I would recommend measuring that. So if we have a look, go from the tip of one horn to the other, it's exactly 7 inches. And if we go down from the top of her head to the bottom of her toe, that's exactly 7 inches as well. So she's actually going to fit into a square. So you could set off with a square piece of paper, that would make quite a nice composition. So really watch those measurements as you go along, because it would be very tempting to do those horns not quite long enough. They are much longer than you think. So we're actually going to start, I'm going to use those same measurements as the photograph. I'm going to start with putting the tips of the horns there at 7 inches. And then if you look, the top of the head is more or less in line with those, just a little bit prouder than that. So from there we'll go down and mark where the foot is. So that gives you that shape that she's going to be fitting into. So if we look at the head itself is about 3 inches from the very top to the chin. So again, that starts a little bit further up, so we'll do it right at the top there. So the chin's going to be about there somewhere. And her body comes from, if we line things up as well, from the tip of this horn down to her tummy is about level. And if we go across from there, it's just short of 5 inches. So down from here and out to about here somewhere. So that gives us a shape to be beginning with. A few little measurements that you can just pop in to give you a hand with your basic measurements. Okay, so I would start with the head. And it's quite a nice rounded shape on top. I'll just pop that out of the way. Quite a round shape, and then look at the shape of that hair. So what we're drawing now here, this shape, is the hair. So draw the hair as a block to begin with. We can put all the individual hairs in that later. The horn is coming down slightly and then up. So if we go from the tip, we're going to go down slightly and then back up. You might want to stand up and move around as you do this, it'll make it easier to move your arm. And again from this side, down and back up. And they're not exactly symmetrical. She's got her head tilted slightly this way. So the rest of her face now, so her ears are coming to about here somewhere. And again, they're sort of a triangle shape. So if you just look at the basic shapes of things rather than trying to draw the detail at this stage. And her face is quite square. Down to her chin there. And then her nose fits in this section here. And we can refine this when we come to do the detail later with the pen maybe. And then you can sort of see the line there of her nose. So this part here is cheek and this is the edge of her nose. So look carefully at where things join up and which part of her is which. Some of this under here is just hair. And you can more or less see there where the face goes off and the ear is connected, but that's going to be covered in hair in any case. So now look at where her back goes. We can see a little bit of back there, down to there, and then around, a nice big sweep for that tummy coming all the way down, and then a leg. You can't see the back legs too much because of the grass, etc. We'll pop her neck in, which again comes all the way down here. Very distinctive cow shape is this, the way this skin is on the front of the neck. And you've got the side of a shoulder there, you can see that shoulder, so do think about the bones and the structure underneath. Although she's very hairy, we still should be able to see we've got the bone here of a back, hip there, this is what we call a flank, and then you can see the shape of her leg, and you can see where her knee is going to be there. And her front leg is sort of in front. I've not got that wide enough, that one. Her front leg, you can see more or less where her shoulder is. It joins up to there, and again she's got that foot sort of turned back a little bit. That's not coming down far enough. That was where the feet were supposed to be. I've gone too far down, haven't I? I've made her too tall. So let's alter that. So her foot's that kind of shape, up to there. And this one, then this one's slightly further down here. Like I say, you can't really see those because of the grass. So my mistake there, I put that measurement in and then I'd forgotten all about it. So look at the negative shapes now. So if we've got this shape right here, so this is what we refer to a negative shape, the shape in between the subject that you're drawing. So if we look here and we've got that right, more or less, that helps with getting the accuracy there. And again, she sort of goes in and out a little bit here. Can you see? That's her shoulder and she's coming down there, and this is the front of her chest. So just think about which bits are which as you're drawing her. So I'm going to leave that for the pencil guidelines, and I'm going to go over the top of that now with some ink pen. So what I'm going to do is making sure I keep those measurements but try and get some character in by getting all this hair in. And so what we need to do is really look at the way it's moving over and across her body. So this is coming around in this direction. She's got these coming off her ears, so make sure the hair is going around the animal. Well, these are going in this direction, then we've got these ones going over because they're going over that shoulder bone there. So they've got to go around, and then if we look here it's darker. That's because she's a 3D object, she's going this way away from us. This is casting shadow on this, so we're getting that sort of dip in and out around her chest there. So think about getting some of these darker areas in later with your paint, but with your drawing really get some character in by getting it nice and curly and expressive, and altering the lines, making some lines thicker than others, closer together than others, and trying to get some character and movement in that. And the thing is, because you've already done your pencil work and you can be quite confident that you've got things in the right place, you can then be a little bit freer with your ink drawing. Because she's brown, today I'm going to be using a sepia coloured pen. So this is a Unipin fine liner, which is waterproof and fade proof, and the size is 0.5. You can do it in a black pen if you want, or if you wanted to, you could just do your drawing all in pencil before putting some paint on. In which case you'd want to tidy up some of these lines, because I'm going to be rubbing these lines out once I've finished doing the pen work. Just be careful when you're working with your pen that you don't go too dark in a lot of areas. Try and leave some of this sunshine on her that we can get the effect of later with some paint. So just use it to get, like I say, get some expressive lines and to get all that detail in, but just be careful not to completely cover her in colour and not have these white bits showing. So I'll go ahead now and do that drawing, and I'll come back and talk to you when we're putting the paint on.
the drums near, buds are bursting. Beautiful green, it's like a love scene with waves of flirting. Seasons change us. Maybe it's just me and mine, where thunder has had its way. When kindness is portrayed as blind and glitter to the rays. Oh, no need to beg pardon. No need to beg pardon. Strong piano playing, wind chimes swaying. I'm longing for summer nights. Down by the ocean, high emotion, legs covered in mosquito bites. Oh, seasons change us. Maybe it's just me and mine, where thunder has had its way. When kindness is portrayed as blind and glitter to the rays. Oh, no need to beg pardon. No need to beg pardon from me. Maybe it's just me and mine, where thunder has had its way. When kindness is portrayed as blind and glitter to the rays. Oh, no need to beg pardon. Oh, no need to beg pardon. Oh, maybe it's just me and mine, where thunder has had its way. When kindness is portrayed as blind and glitter to the rays. Oh, no need to beg pardon. Oh, no need to beg pardon from me.
Okay, so you'll see it looks much nicer now I've got rid of all those pencil guidelines. You could take a bit more time with your measuring and having a little bit more tidy pencil guidelines before you begin than I had. So I've got rid of all those, so we've just got the ink drawing there. You'll notice that in some areas I made it a little bit darker by having the lines closer together to get some of those shadows in, but we're also going to get some of those with the paint. So I thought I would keep it very, very simple. I'm just going to paint this wet in wet. So I've only made up 4 colours. So I've got a yellow, an orange, a sienna and a darker brown. As I go along, these are a little bit thicker, so the browns are thicker than the yellow and the orange, and I'm going to start with the lightest colours and go to the darkest colours and just keep working wet in wet. So the main thing to remember when working wet in wet is that your subsequent layers are thicker, so less water in there and more pigment, and that way it will work. If you wanted to, you could go on and do a lot more detail than I am. You could put a background in, but I'm just going to paint the cow in because really I just wanted to talk to you about that drawing. So the main thing is to try and get that character in, is to get a lot of different lines in there, get some of these squiggly lines of this hair. You can even put the paint in squiggly lines as well. You might want to do this in more detail in acrylic or something, but it's hard to get that character in when you've not got that eye there. So get this shape of the head, get the shape of these hairs here coming down and across her nose there. So you'll see here where it comes out and around her nose. Just pay careful attention to that because that's where you're getting the face in there. Okay, so I hope you enjoy doing that picture. Like I say, I've got the link there down below in the description to this photograph. You don't have to print it off, you could just look at it on your monitor or your tablet. The great thing about doing it on your tablet is you can zoom in to the areas where there's more detail, like the nose and things, to get that correct. I'd actually got the ears too big when I began. You'll notice they're a bit smaller than they were when I did the pencil drawing, and again these legs are very short and stocky, and there's a bit of a temptation to make them longer than they are. Looking at her now, actually I think I've got her tummy a little bit wrong here. It wants to be a bit more this way and coming around. I've actually picked the wrong pen up there, I've picked a smaller pen up, but you can see here it's flat across her back. If you imagine putting your hands across her back, she'd be very wide and flat here, but difficult to see because the sun's shining on there. Okay, so I'll stop waffling on now and I'll put some paint on this, and I'll pop a little bit of music along to that. If you've anything that you want to ask me about the drawing of this, please do so in the comments below. This is just an ordinary watercolour paper, cold pressed, £140. Okay, so enjoy the rest of the video and I look forward to seeing you again next week. Thanks for watching and bye for now.